wanna shine, want me shine, yeah. One time for my guy, yeah. Hold it ground, hold me down, yeah. You know I shine, I wanna shine, yeah. For my God, hold me down, I'ma shine, yeah. For my God, watch me shine. Whoa, whoa, I'm gonna shine. Whoa, you know I gotta shine, watch me shine.
All right, y'all. Y'all saw the intro by none other than our season 3 Run the Jewelz podcast and vidcast series. We are already on season 3, you all. Thank you for tuning in, fellow Jewels, this evening for our 152nd episode. We are already 152 episodes in, locked and loaded for season 3. For those who may have missed our recent episode, starting off season 3 premiere last week, definitely go back and catch the replay. I'm your humbled host, Julian Smartrimple. Welcome to the Run the Jewelz experience, y'all. This is definitely a production that we are excited to release. Season 3, episode 152. The RTJ show is listed on all podcast platforms. You can catch us on Apple, Google, Stitcher, Podbean, any of the ones, Google, any of the Spotify, any of the ways that you listen to your podcast platform. Catch us on all podcast platforms for season 3. I'm getting ready to bring in my very special guests. We are again on episode 152. Startups for Gen Z. This is a show that we are dedicated to literally educate you all on for Generation Z or any young professionals or millennial entrepreneurs on how to shine like the bright diamond jewel that you've been created to be. And so with my very special guest that's about to get ready to come on, he goes by the name of Xander Kazanowski. I met this young king, matter of fact, through social media. Shout out to Instagram and also all the other social platforms where you can meet a ton of movers and shakers that you wouldn't necessarily get to see in your home city or home state. And so I'm going to get ready to bring him on the screen so that you all can meet my very special guest this evening. Share this content with anyone you know that can definitely benefit from the information that we will be discussing for season 3 and also episode 152 tonight. And get ready to meet my main brother, Xander. Xander, can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
How you feeling, bro?
Pretty great, pretty great.
I know this is your first time, of course, coming on to the RTJ show. And so what we usually do is have our guests introduce themselves to our audience to tell us a little bit about your background, where you're checking in from, and also tell us a little bit about why this subject is important to you.
Yeah, so I'm Xander Kazanowski. I'm the founder and CEO of Work Services. We're a consumer services logistics platform. We connect consumer with the provider of any service you can think of. So whether you need a fish tank cleaned or someone tutored or a new playground installed, new roof, or a new pool, we've got you covered. And, we've got the best people and we're available. So 24/7 booking. Our app comes out in about a week and a half. We've been building towards that. But yeah, I'm 20 years old. I live here in Chicago. If you hear that noise in the background, that's my fiance. She's practicing for a gig she has later today. She's just playing the banjo. So that's the background noise. And we're here and we're just creating opportunities. Actually going into this whole COVID thing, we were a really small operation and we were doing, landscaping and some stuff, but our main source of income was setting up lacrosse lessons. And then from there, everything just changed. So we were doing all, remote and contactless and just jamming out all our other ends of stuff. And, about a year and 3 weeks later, here we are, and the app's coming out whenever it's approved by Apple, and we're just running with it.
I love it, man. It's definitely the time to make your dreams become a reality. There's no excuses for those that are tuning in, fellow entrepreneurs like Xander and myself and a ton of others that are out here not making excuses, but are still getting to the grind and also making their dreams again a reality. And so you're in for a treat with my very special guest, Xander Kazanowski, for episode 152, Startups for Gen Z. But before we start, we want to make sure we give a special shout out to our VIP sponsor for tonight's very special episode. I'm going to let you look at who our VIP sponsor is for episode 152 tonight. So shout out to our VIP sponsor for tonight's very special episode. Comes from none other than the Smart Food Kitchen. Shout out to the Smart Food Kitchen. You can definitely see the link that I'm going to put in the comment section to see how you can find out how to eat healthier and also live healthier with free cooking demos and also webinars and recipes and meal prep plans. You name it, Smart Food Kitchen has what you need. And so shout out to our official VIP sponsor highlight for tonight's very special episode, Smart Food Kitchen. And so Xander, back to you, bro. I know this is definitely the time of the year when a lot of people are in the mindset of getting ready for summer break. School is about to be out, I know, here in the South. And I know shortly, probably up in the Midwest and up north where you're located at. So why do you feel that this is an important season, especially going into June and July next month, to not put your foot off the gas pedal and to still stay on your game and stay focused on what you and your business and also your team are doing going into the summer months? Like, why is it important to not take your foot off the gas going into summer?
I've got a lot of great people that need to be paid. That's what it comes down to. And even more, we've got an influx coming in, people who are currently in school. That's actually our main source of labor. So we got a lot of people working part-time while they're in school, even full-time while they're in school for us. But now we've got about 40 or 50 of our best people coming back, May 15th and beyond. I'm super excited to just start bringing opportunities to these guys and getting everyone paid and allowing to set up, a good future for just everyone. I'm so blessed to have these guys doing what they're doing for the mission, and more as we build up our audience. But it's just so great to just be able to have these people come and do what they love and be able to make a living doing it. And there's nothing greater to me than that. And that's just what it's all about. There's nothing's going to beat that feeling. So I'm not going to coast. I'm not going to take my foot off the gas. This is our biggest season. We're working different routes because, as we scale, we need to make sure that we're not as seasonal, because right here in the Midwest, the bulk majority of our work's going to come in spring and summer. And then throughout the winter, there's only a select few things that we can actually be doing. But I want to have it, going all out all the time, everywhere. So we're going into new markets. We're going to go check out, check out Nashville, check out Dallas, check out Austin, Bryan and College Station, Colorado Springs, Denver. We're running around Cleveland, Cincinnati. So we're just really trying to, figure out where we should put our roots and how we can just bring this to everywhere, essentially, and just help people get paid for doing what they love in their spare time, and just kind of we're trying to bring together everyone and create the closest thing to a perfectly efficient labor market there is here on Earth, and that's just I'm just stoked because there's so many foregone opportunities, lost value, and we can just utilize the underutilized and get people paid for stuff they love to do or stuff that they're great at wherever they are. So right now we're pretty centralized here in Chicago in the northwest suburbs. So we're building up. Atlanta would be great. I'm looking for people all the time. You guys have a lot of traffic over there in Atlanta. But other than that, I have no problem with it. I'd love to be there one day, and hopefully we'll be there within the decade. I plan on being every state here, and it's just it's all at our fingertips. I always feel like the next big thing is coming up, and it's there, and it's just on the horizon. We got to just keep gunning for it, and keep pushing, keep doing what we're doing, and I'm just super excited to just keep making things happen. And there's no sense in stopping that or slowing that down. So this is how we have fun, it's by building and making cool things and helping people just live a little better life. And it's really cool. We're doing some cool things with labor trades and whatnot. I got a lot of guys that, I come in and do some stuff for them. They do some stuff for me. And, just today I had these guys get their bushes taken out. He's going to help me install a new chandelier that I bought because he's an electrician. So there's just a lot of cool things that you can do. And just trade labor for labor and just not even have that intermediaries of management or all these people that have to be paid in between, but where you could just go just straight labor for labor, and everyone's walking out and perfectly contented, and it just feels great. Cut out the middleman. So
I love that. Cut out the middleman for sure. That's something that all of us especially want to be able to do, so that you can go straight to the consumer, straight to the customer. And so for those that are just tuning in, we appreciate you rocking with us this evening for our second episode for season 3, Startups for Gen Z, episode 152, with my very special guest, Xander Kazanowski, who is a dynamic young entrepreneur that is literally killing the game right now out of Chicago, the Midwest area. And he's talking to us about why it's important to have startups, specifically startups for Gen Zers. And so for those that are tuning in, if you have any questions for my very special guest, Xander, feel free to list them in the comment section and we'll get to them shortly. But going back to you, Xander, I know it is very intriguing for young entrepreneurs such as yourself that are under the age of 25, let's even just say, that are getting to it, that they're not into the partying phase. They're not into, let's just keep it real, like getting blazed, getting high. 420 just recently passed last month in April, but that are actually serious about their craft and serious about their business venture. And so talk to us about how have you kept your focus in still being under the age of 25 and still literally finding out who you are identity wise as a young king, as a young man. Talk to us about how do you keep your focus, and also how do you not get distracted easily like many of your peers that are your age?
No, I'm distracted all the time, and I think that's one of the things that's I have this sort of life that I want to live that's kind of wherever I want, whenever I want. And the only way to really do that is to, create something that's hyper usable, that's widespread, that, people will that changes lives, quite frankly, because you're not going to get anywhere unless you can actually make an impact on, the day-to-day life of an individual and a group of individuals. And so it really does change lives, because if you can, work all day, minimum wage, you clock out, maybe you're at $1.20, and then you go move a couch with your buddy and get $80 that's a significant uptick in, just 30 minutes of your annual income. And people do, we've seen, they're logging in, they're doing painting, they're doing a painting job that they normally wouldn't have any contact with the client at all, but now they're able to make that transaction, make it happen, and they're making money, and money changes things, and it helps people, and it rises up, helps people build, and it creates. And I'm here to have a good time, but also create. So I just think that like constantly plugging the philosophy and spreading the gospel of like what we're up to, even while I'm out having a good time. And that's actually sometimes when I meet the people who make the most difference, the biggest change within our organization and help us grow in the greatest capacities, just by going out and living life and enjoying life. And it's gotten a lot more enjoyable lately, being out here in Chicago, and with the reopenings and whatnot, we're able to go and just see people existing. And I think that's the biggest thing, just constantly be communicating and spreading your gospel, spreading your truth, spreading the truth that and kind of having that vision in your head of what the future could be, and just knowing that if you take steps, even if it's in a zigzag pattern, but you're slowly approaching, and you go in a direction, you realize it's not the right direction, you're going there and you're going back, and at least you're moving somewhere. And that way you can kind of learn from the mistakes of the past and just iterate. And you start early, you can go off, you can go crazy, and it just all comes down to whether or not you know how to pick yourself up when you fall, and just knowing that you can tumble forward. It's not going to be a clean gallop. It can be a pretty rugged road, but like at least you're further down it than you were before. And you've learned a lot, and you've helped a lot of people with their same journeys. Maybe it's not the same journey, but you get a lot of insight. You live a lot of life just by running around creating and doing something, rather than consuming, and rather than just passively taking life. Just going out and trying to carve out the life that you think makes the most sense.
Yeah, and that's something that is very difficult, like you said, from creating your own path and not just going with the flow or the rest of the herd, and really just being an individual and making your mark, especially at a young age, before you even hit the mid to late 20s or early 30s. That is something significant that we always applaud young entrepreneurs on the RTJ show. I know we did have a couple questions coming in for you. Midnight Prayer Watch, shout out to MPW. They said, Xander, this is very innovative. This is a very innovative idea, and you're only 20 years old. What made you decide to come up with this idea, and what was your proof of concept process before you launched?
Yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of iterating. So it originally wasn't like, oh, we're gonna make this platform that connects everyone so that they can do and do whatever. It originally was just like, hey man, I need money, I need to get paid. Like, what do I got to do? And then I got really good at finding opportunities. And then over time, I was like, well, I could do all these myself, or I could delegate and bring these opportunities to other people who I know would benefit and enjoy doing these things and getting compensated for it. So it went from me just brokering my services and figuring out everything that I, as a person, was capable of offering that could be monetized, and just giving a helping hand here and there, and not charging, and just getting the word of mouth out, and just telling people like, hey, listen, like, you need something done, I got you. And so it began as me just on certain forums and community forums, and just saying, hey, you need anything done, I'm your guy, let me come, make it happen. I got people that they can come with me if you need something moved, or you need something cleaned, or so we're just running around doing that. And then over time, build up a pretty good audience. They're like, wow, this guy knows how to get stuff done. And then we know people who know how to get stuff done, and we go and get stuff done. And so essentially it's, well, we can, as the confidence builds up, we do other stuff and more complicated projects. Well, we can do basically anything. And so now it's basically home services and some education, but we're just branching out in every single direction, because connecting people is connecting people. And that's what we do, and that's what we do best. And we're going to connect people and connect people and connect people, and try to make these things happen. And so essentially it's, well, we can, as the Can
you hear me, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any feedback. So I know the connections piece is what we were literally ending off that last point. And connections is what I like to say king when it comes to building a startup, especially when you're looking for resources, and even, as you said, hands and feet and moving parts to build up the business. And so, like, how have you gone about building up your network of whether it's your team or even whether it's your support, your community, your flock? Like, what areas have you found success in? And then also, what are some areas that you would suggest that other entrepreneurs can do better with improving their circle of influence?
Yeah. So everyone who's with us has reached out to us and been like, hey, you know, seen what's up, seen what you've been up to. I want in, you know, let me in, let's do it, let's run it. And those are the people that have stuck around. Everyone I've like reached out to, everyone I've like gotten through like a job application or a posting. I've got thousands of applicants on all sorts of platforms trying to do, you know, this and that, trying to work for free even. And like internships and like all those people, they're going to fall off over time. The ones that are like in it and the ones that have the vision are the ones who like approach me. They just message me on any, you know, Instagram or Snapchat. And they're like, dude, I've seen what you've been putting out there. And I haven't been doing much recently. We haven't been really onboarding anyone in the past couple months, but we've just been building towards the future. But basically I was putting out content on Snapchat and I was saying, hey, you know, this is what I'm up to. This is the life I'm living. I'm running around doing this and that. And I was just saying, you know, little anecdotes, you know, things I've learned and just kind of, like I was saying, like spreading my gospel, spreading my truth, spreading the thing I wanted to build, and just kind of initially conceiving it through the spoken word. And I'd put it on my story on Snapchat. And I built up, you know, a pretty good audience, and I'd have a lot of replies, you know, 20, 30 replies in a day sometimes. And it's just people saying like, wow, like, thanks, man. I really needed that. You know, it's like motivational, this and that, you know, seeing this as this. And I met some people in real life, you know, that have seen those things and, you know, just really, really great embrace. And I'm like, wow, this is beyond me. And so basically I just started saying my truth, and the people started reaching out to me, and essentially whenever I needed anyone that was capable of something, I'd say like, hey, I need this, I need that. And I'd put it on the story, and then people would reach out. And then, hey, I need this, I need that. People reach out. Oh, I know someone who does this, or I do this or that. And it was just great. And so I, you know, started brokering everyone's services that came to me. And, you know, the people who come to me and they say, hey man, like, there's some other great ones. It's just situationally. I just pick them up. I say, like, someone walks in, like, hey, are you guys hiring? And I'm shopping at the store. I'm like, no, sorry. And you see them like walking out, beat on the face. And you're like, damn. I'm like, are you just looking to work here? Are you looking to work anywhere? And then bam, give me a call. And then, you know, the next day they're working for us, and they're like, you know, grinding it out just with our guys. And it's just awesome to see. Like it happens. The people come. If you build something awesome, it's like a magnet. Like good people will come to you, and you just got to make sure you treat them well. Treat them the way good people should be treated, and they'll stick around, and you'll just grow and flourish. And basically it's just a great way to see humanity through a different lens. It's just kind of rather than being a passive actor and you're a transactor, you can be a builder. You can be a builder of men, a builder of people, a builder of men and women. We rise by building others up, and that's the only way we get anywhere in this world. And doing that is so fulfilling. It's ridiculous. And there's no way I could ever throw in the towel, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And stay right there with that point too, because I know with building, we always are literally professing that we have to build the legacy that we want for our children's children to be able to dwell in here on the RTJ show. And that comes with, like you said, a lot of follow through. It comes with a lot of foundational pieces that are being put into play. And because we're talking about Gen Z, I know I'm a millennial coming down to the last years of my millennial age group, but you're a Gen Zer. I work with a lot of Gen Z, whether they're fresh out of college or whether they're going into college right now. And it is literally a hit or miss with a lot of the clients or even customers that I know that are Gen Z, because a lot of the ones who say that they are down, that they say that they are going to finish the job, that they're going to want to build or connect. Some of them are literally just full of it. They're just talking a lot of ish, as I like to say. Their follow through is very weak. Their follow through game is very weak. So talk to us about, like, when it comes to those individuals that may be shaky on the fence of saying that they want to build with you, that they want to help out, but then that they don't follow through. Like, what are some tips or some jewels that you can share with our audience and how to not get downtrodden or to get really turned off with wanting to work with young builders or with young employees?
Yeah, so there's two things I'd like to say on that statement, because that's a great question. Basically, that happens all day, every day. You know, people are like, "Hey, I can do this, I could do that." Well, I'm sure you could, but like, are you going to? You know, and there's no follow through, and you know they fall off, and whatever. So I don't really put anything in writing until I know it's time to put things in writing, and everything's pretty loose until it's not, and they'll tie that knot. You know, they'll know that they want to be around. But basically, the people that are loose with it and they don't really follow through, they'll fall off. I don't really mind. I don't care. What I care about is making sure the people that do follow through, the people that are doing well and doing good and creating, and those people are properly rewarded, properly compensated, treated, you know, optimally. And I'd say also, like, if you're applying for positions and you don't get follow through from the company or an individual that you're applying to, like, don't be downtrodden, because sometimes people are just so busy, so swamped, and you just simply cannot get to that application. Like, it's just not even it's not possible in the moment, and it happens all the time. It's just like, these people are great, they're fantastic, they're willing to be unpaid interns, but like, we don't even have the time to open up that resume and take a look at it. And so that happens in a lot of industries. So it's important just to kind of go out and just, you know, meet people and talk to them directly, because you don't want to be lost in that shuffle of paperwork. And I don't even really hire based on anything other than whether or not I meet the person and think that they're inspired or think that they're you know, properly adjusted for this sort of environment, because not many are. Like, it takes a certain someone to work in a startup, and especially a startup that it does so much at such a, you know, a rate. So you really just have to like have them come in and just really talk to them and understand like whether or not they're going to be a proper fit for your certain organization. We've built a few, you know, in this, we're building subsidiaries, so it's just like, it's different with every organization. But you know, it's hard to know if you're going to be your person until you know they're your person. So until they've been around, they've fought and bled with you, and then even if that happens, you know, people are so finicky and with, you know, loose morals that you don't even know. They could think that they're awesome, they're on board, and they end up stabbing you in the back, and they could end up robbing you, stealing, and then, you know, running off with some data or money or whatever, and you don't know. But it's just the fact of the matter is, like, it's just life, you know. It's a constant battle, and you just gotta, like, you know, push against it, and it's not going to be easy. You know, people are going to come and go, but there's certain people that you know you want to keep around forever, so you do all you can to make sure that they're treated as such.
Yeah, that's great, man, right there, especially in dealing with people. Is literally entrepreneurship 101. I know MPW Midnight Prayer Watch said, "Wow, it's amazing how the process of solving the most basic need results in the most successful idea creations." Keep going forward, young man. Shout out to MPW. Definitely, I know that's a huge setback when it comes to young entrepreneurs that are either in their 30s still or even in their 20s, like both of us. Like, being able to start and stop, and also being able to not take it personal is one of the key things that a lot of people are very afraid to fail forward. They're not built to really take a lot of L's or a lot of losses along the way to building up a successful business. And so talk to us about like that fear piece that a lot of entrepreneurs, or even yourself maybe, that may have had fear along the way of even starting and stopping, or even naysaying that we have to go against our own thoughts, and a lot of our family or friends may not support you when you are first getting things up and running. Like, talk to us about the fear factor, and how have you overcome any of those fear tactics?
Yeah, no, it's very common. You know, people, if you're doing something different, everyone's going to think it's really dumb until it works. It's just the way people operate. You know, they're pattern oriented. They look to fall in line, and so certain people are built that way, and they're going to question anything new. But the second it's proven, you know, it sort of spins. But it's hard to prove anything out until, you know, time has passed and it's done on repetition. Because if it hasn't been repeated, then it can be an anomaly. And you know, you repeat something over time, and everyone knows you're really good at it. Over time, you become the go-to for many people, and then you can build So a lot of people, they get afraid of that initial rejection, but it's not really rejection. What I'd say, it's an inner resentment from the people. They resent something in themselves, and they're reflecting that upon you, and they're saying that essentially that they feel bad that they haven't taken that leap. And it's no risk. There's really no risk in starting a business if you really think about it. You can work on it whenever you want. You can come and go on the project. You can, there's no risk. It's just a time commitment. And I think a lot of people, they're afraid of not being able to do it on the first try or whatever. I don't know. They're afraid of it being hard. That's the thing. It's like anything that is worth doing is going to be quite rough, and it's going to build you as a person. And it wouldn't add to you as a person if it was easy and if it came easy. And that's why certain things that do come easy, they could actually lead to the demise of that individual, because they get arrogant in all other regards because they think they're really good at that one thing. So it's going to be hard. You're going to face initial rejection. You got to, put your head down and grind through it. And if you can't get through that, there's no way you're going to get through the actual part that's rough, which is, building and sustaining, building and sustaining, building and sustaining. And I'd say the sustaining part is more difficult than the building part. And it's just an interesting process. But yeah, there will be rejection and initial doubts. But as long as you know what you're building and you know what you're taking steps towards, and you know that it's going to be cool and people will like it, or you'll like it at least, and you'll be able to carve out a good lifestyle for yourself, then go ahead and run in that direction, because if there's a way, you're going to find it. And so what if no one else has gone in that waters before? You're gonna make it your own, and maybe you'll discover a new fish.
Absolutely. No, that's major right there, man. Is what you were hinting to, like staying disciplined. I know we did have a question come in from Mama Smart. She asked, would you call yourself disciplined, and how have you always been, or did you develop based upon your vision that you set for yourself?
I don't think anyone who knows me would label me as disciplined. I don't think I'm too disciplined. I think I just know that there's a certain thing out there that can be achieved. And I think if I'd be a fool for not trying, essentially. And I think that if I had the chance, which, like, being in such a spot, in such a place, and at such a time, and like I said, it's all, the whole, everything is at your fingertips. You can just go out and create such a life, and for not only yourself, but everyone you care about. And I think just the simple fact that that's out there, and to look that in the face and say no, or to look that in the face and say, like, no, I'd rather not contribute. I'd rather just comply and go down this road with everyone else. I would kill me, and it had killed me for a period of time, until I just started getting to work on something cool. And now it's like, even when I'm kicking back, enjoying it, I'm always kind of, the gears are turning, trying to build into that future and build that, optimal platform for people just to have the lifestyle that they want.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is all about, like you said, the lifestyle that you want, man, because a lot of people, they literally look at Instagram, as TikTok, Snap. Some even still are on Facebook or YouTube, and they see other people's lifestyles, but they do not know what they want for their own lifestyle. They just want to copycat or mimic someone else's lifestyle, or even if it's a fake lifestyle, let's be honest. And so, like, what do you think social media is able to be used as for a startup entrepreneur? Do you see more good than a lot of the fake media that is out there, with people that are living false or fake lifestyles in order to intrigue people? Like, what do you say for you still being in the Gen Z category with the usage of social media? Is it something that you think is progressive? Do you think it is lacking validity, or lacking any true honesty? Like, what are your thoughts on social?
Well, I'd say, you can certainly demonize it and say it leads to all these terrible things and whatnot, but you can always say that, the opposite, easier transfer of information. I'd say it's just like, it's where you're going to meet the people where they are. That's where the audience is. That's where, people who are tuned in, listening to new sorts of things are sitting there, and they're consuming stuff. So if you're creating, you need consumers, and social media and the internet and smartphones and computers. It's never been easier to be a creator and to distribute material across such a widespread audience and collect your people and your audience. So I say that there's a certain denier, like people they wish it was old fashioned. It would be exponentially more difficult to spread new ideas, even with the modern day censorship and modern day laws and stuff because you could still slip things in. But back in the day, man, you used to have to spread it by mouth, and then there's the written word, and then there wasn't even a printer, so you had to translate everything and write it down, and hand that out, and then copy that material, and then there's the printing press, then boom, but now it's like you literally don't have to do anything. You could just take your phone, click record, say whatever you want, and blast it to a certain someone, and then if you use it for the right things and it's not arbitrary and it makes sense and it goes down a path of creation, you can spread ideas, spread thoughts, and gather insights from crowds, but also you'll know what to build, and you'll know who to build it with, because they'll come to you and they'll tell you. So it's pretty cool.
And becoming an influencer is something that is critical in this day and age, especially with the youth that are looking up to other people that are not just entertainers or even actors and actresses and athletes. So it's very critical, especially for your generation and even my generation, millennials and Gen Zers, to find those who are social influencers in order to provide a template or even a blueprint to follow for those that aren't in athletics or the entertainment industry. Like, what platforms do you see the most success with your success rate of impressions or even catching leads or generating leads in, and what are your go-to social media platforms that you even like to use yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, you could do this at the micro level. So like in the beginning, I didn't have much of an audience. It was like people I knew, people I kind of knew, friends and family type stuff. And so essentially you could do this with 40 people, you could do this with less. You could just, talk to your audience and figure out what you can do for them. You can build a business, with the advent of the internet, it's been the easiest thing in the world to build a business, quite frankly. And you can go, and there's a million ways to make money. You could go out in any direction. You could do what you love. And so what I love to do is get people paid for doing what they love to do. And that's my full-time occupation. It's awesome. And so basically you can go and create and delegate all the things you're not capable of to other people, because you're on the internet. You can communicate with anyone you want, whenever. And you could just build really awesome things and just get it out there in no time. And I'd say that social media is a great way to amplify your voice. And even if you disagree with certain aspects of social media and social manipulations of big corporations or whatnot with sponsored influencer content, whatever, I mean, you could disagree with it, but it's a fact of the matter is that that's where people are, and that's where they're tuned in. So you got to meet the people where they are and try to change their mind, and maybe show them that they can live, not the life that everyone who's trying to sell them something wants them to live, or the people who are trying to flex on others are saying this better, but the life that they desire. And here's an actual route to do that. And it's there's a lot of good stuff that goes on. There's a lot of bad stuff that goes on. I don't know which outweighs the other. I'm pretty certain it's the former, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's real, man. It's always a lot of things that are going to try to distract us, and so social can be used for so much good versus, as you said, negative stereotypes or even negative impressions that we see about and hear about all the time. And so I know when it comes to the importance of a spouse or a partner, I know you are a married man, and we do like to always applaud those guests that come on the show that are married, especially and I hear your wife banging the pots and pans in the background. It's hilarious. But when it comes to having the support of a spouse, talk to us in just your perspective, like how important is it to, for one, choose the right spouse when you are an entrepreneur, and then also talk to us about like how your spouse has been your support system in making sure that you feel supported and not like a lot of other couples may feel is like shunned because you're still figuring stuff out as you go to your success story. So like to us about
I don't know, man. I'm still figuring stuff out. I'm recently engaged. I'm not married yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I'd say to build something, you have the freedom to go and do whatever you want and spend time with people you care about. And I think the freedom is impeccable. It's immeasurable. It's the best thing that I think it's just what humans were designed to do. Live with the people they love and create and do things with them. So I think everyone should have the ability to do that, and they do with the internet. They do. They truly do. They can create and do something amazing. And so I'd say there's people out there, and life is crazy, and you got to live it. You can't put your head down and grind too hard. Otherwise, what's to enjoy?
Yeah, and we're going to speak it into existence, even though, like you said, it's still an engagement. We still going to speak it out there that the marriage is going to be prosperous and strong. But stay with that point, though, because I know that a lot of entrepreneurs may feel that they should be single until they actually are at a certain level or a pivotal point of their business's success before they get married. And so, like, for you, of course, you're wanting to get married while you're still building the business. So talk to us about like the difference of why you chose, of course, to start the process of being in an engagement towards marriage at the beginning stages of your business's success versus waiting later. Like, talk to us about your mindset behind that.
Well, I don't think there's any thought that went into that at all. I could have been, before this or after this. I think it's just the timing was just a matter of fate. But I just think that whether it be the beginning, whether it be the end, just what you know, and you just happen to know it sometimes. So that's just kind of how it goes. But basically, yeah, you can just kind of lead your optimal life, and everyone else can, doubt you or question you for it. But so long as you know what you know, and you understand that, you're taking steps, even if they're baby steps, in the direction of the life that you want. That feels good to do. That's progress, and that's how you lead an optimal. What I would say is optimal. What's optimal for me is when I'm taking steps towards my goals and trying to make cool things happen, and watching cool things that we've done occur, and nothing beats that.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. We're gonna get ready to wind down for the final jewels for tonight's interview. But we're going to have a quick ad for one of our additional sponsors for the RTJ show. So we'll be right back in 1 second. So for those that are watching, we are literally a podcast / video platform that we do here each and every week for Smart Jewelz Enterprises, where we are powered by our mothership, Smart Jewelz Enterprises. We help tons of entrepreneurs and also young professionals create different avenues to shine brighter in their career or in their business that they are working in or even building up. And so we also offer, this is one of our newest services since last year, a podcast and also platform creative coaching system to help entrepreneurs and young professionals launch a podcast or even launch a video or creative platform. And so services include podcast show creation, podcast and live streaming services, live streaming and multi-streaming, technical assistance, webinars, educational classroom solutions, you name it. We have what you need. And so you can go and visit us at SmartJewelz Enterprises.org. That's SmartJewelzEnterprises.org to find out how we can make your show or make your idea become a reality in 2021. And so for those who are still tracking with us, we're winding down SMARTJEW. We're winding down with my very special guest, Xander Kazanowski, who has been rocking with us for episode 152, Startups for Gen Z. We've been talking about all things what Gen Zers or even entrepreneurs that are wanting to launch this season, what you need to know and what you need to be mindful of as you build up your business. And so as we get ready to wind down shortly, Xander, like talk to us about your culture, because I hear the name Kazanowski. Tell us about what is the root of your last name, and then also like talk to us about your culture and how your culture has either supported or even uplifted you to be an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's real no other culture in me. I'm just America, you know, straight up. You know, my last name sounds Polish, but it's really not. My grandparents' parents were Ukrainian, and they changed the last name because they didn't want the Russian influence in the early 1910s. So they made it sound Polish. And so I'm half Swedish, quarter Greek, and a quarter Ukrainian. And you know, you ask my grandpa, you know, what's going on in the Ukraine? He goes, you know, I don't care. I'm an American. And you know, so both sides of my family, they you know, fought in World War II and whatnot. So you know, I got a lot of family members that have been, you know, just bleeding American blood for a minute, and I kind of have a great idea of what this country could be, and it's sad to see the current state of it. And I just think that as long as we're able to be free to build, I'm going to, and even when we're not, even when they try to suppress that, I'm going to. And I know that here in this land, you know, we have the right to just go do and create, regardless of what anyone else says. No matter what politicians speaking garbage or whatever certain, you know, forces are trying to impose upon you, you know that you have the ability, you have the right, you have the inalienable God-given right to go out and do and freely create and to enjoy the blessings of this land and this world. And I'd say here right now, it is the best place to do this, but for long, I'm not too sure. And I do fear that this country falls due to improper governance or you know, changes in sentiments. But so long as we remain the land of the free, we'll remain the land of the great. We can just continue. If the individual has sovereignty over themselves and they can just, you know, choose whatever direction, whatever path they can go on, the world will continue to look to America for the future of everything. And you know, I just hope that we can retain this sense of self and sense of individuality as we go on into the future with all this, you know, pushback through all other sorts.
Absolutely, bro. I definitely thought the last name was Polish, so I'm glad you cleared it up for us, because I got a couple friends that have the Owski at the end. They were like, it's either Polish or, right, like you said, in the Ukraine area. So shout out to all those who are Polish, Ukrainian, or even Russian, because we know we have a lot of international jewels that listen to us or watch us for the RTJ show. And so as we get ready to close out, before we allow you to leave your final jewel for thought, like talk to us really quick about the financing side of a startup, because some people have tons of horror stories where they literally are living in cars. Some people have the money strings from parent seed money or friends that have been able to like support them financially. And in others, they just are Postmate, Door Dashing, and Uber Eats, making sure that they can still survive while putting all of their funding from their 9-to-5 or even from side income into their business. And so talk to us about your particular strategy for financing your business endeavors, and how should other potential entrepreneurs or current entrepreneurs go about their financing for their own business?
Yeah, I mean, so it's up to the individual. I mean, we're a bootstrapped company. I still retain, you know, all the equity, and I've always said, you know, equity will be distributed to those who build in the long run. You know, there's no other point in that. That's the fact. You know, whoever's here creating with us is going to, you know, be a substantial owner of this company as we go on and grow. And so I lived on couches and in a Nissan Altima for a bit as we created this thing. But that whole bootstrap mindset, like doing what you can with what you have where you are, and just creating, and just knowing that you can grow a little bit every day and just advance towards your direction. And just waking up every day with that in your mind, just grinding, getting there. And recently got a few places here in Chicago. Finally been able to just settle in and make it happen. And I've been looking to do, I want to create like a motel type thing where you can come and create and just sort of an incubator of sorts. But yeah, man, it's hard. There's no easy way to do it. Bootstrap is the way to go. It means your idea is real. It means that it pays for itself. You can create it with its own revenue. And if you're taking outside money, as opposed to a business, you just created a money pit, until you actually start creating revenue. So, I'd say starting to create lines of income and cash flow, and then use that cash flow to build more cash flow. And just, invest in your people, invest in your platforms, invest in your infrastructure, and just, play it smart, make it happen.
That's real right there, King. It's definitely about the bootstrap, not having crazy amounts of loans and debt before your company is profitable. For those that even watch Shark Tank, that's one of the main things that they rule you out, is how much debt does your company already have. And so keep that in mind, like you heard from Xander's mouth, not just from my mouth, as we've talked about since season 1. You got to put all in when you are first starting or getting a business off the ground. And so for those that have been tracking with us, we've come to the last phase of our interview tonight, where you are able to hear from my very special guest, Xander Kazanowski, what his final jewel is, the final jewel for thought that we want you to leave, Xander, with the audience this evening. It could be anything that you want to leave as a final note or a final piece of truth. What would you speak to either the Gen Zers, the millennials that are listening or watching us live, or just anyone that has dreams and that wants to build a business or wants to build a new legacy? Like, what would be your final jewel for thought that you want to leave?
Let's say, know the truth, know what could happen, know what you're capable of, orient yourself in that direction and fire off. And you won't even have time to consider the words of others. Disregard all of that. Don't listen to a single drop of negativity, because if you do, you start listening and you'll hear it more and more. Over time, your ears will be, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. So when you're building a company, you have to look not only in the present to make sure everything's currently, satisfied. You have to look into the future, where are you going? And then you have to learn from the past. So you're living in every single kind of timeline, every state of mind at once, and you won't have a time of day or a second to give to these people who doubt you. And then the people who support you, put your energy in that direction. And I'd say number one thing is just continue to be yourself and be, unmovable in that. So nothing should dismay you from you, and you're knowing the optimal version of yourself and knowing what your mission is. Nothing can get you off that track once you're on it. So just get on it and just start firing. And if you start to look like you're going, you're going to find a way to reroute and get back on it, because, that's you, that's what you do, that's who you are, that's what you're here for. So find a mission and get going.
I love that right there, man. And it's important for those that are listening, go back and replay this, listen to Xander's school for thought, and also his jewels that he's been dropping. This young king is 20, correct, Xander?
Yeah.
This young king right here that we interviewed this evening is only 20 years old. He's going to be dangerous when he gets in his 30s, y'all. We always love having young entrepreneurs come on the show and literally show you all that the next generation is definitely in safe hands. So you just got to believe and also trust those that will be leading the next generation. And so it's been a pleasure serving with you this evening, Xander. We thank you for taking time out to come and share your jewels of wisdom with us. And I'm going to say a quick prayer over you, and then I'll let you and your fiance enjoy the rest of y'all's evening, bro. All right, Father God, I just want to thank you for having Xander be able to come on the live broadcast and the podcast this evening to just be vulnerable and to just share his truth and share the knowledge that you have given him and why it's important to choose a different path, especially now more than ever that you are calling entrepreneurs and also creators to step outside the box and to try a new path that may be a little different from our parents' generation or even from our current peers that are following a different path. And so we thank you for his boldness, his courageousness. We thank you for his passion to serve and to help others. And we also thank you, Lord, for just giving him the leadership qualities to be a leader for his generation and also for generations to come. We thank you for his heart of gold, Father God, that you have given him to be a blessing to others. And we pray that you will bless him with new opportunities and also new connections and new network, even through coming on our platform this evening. And we pray that you will watch over him. And it's in Jesus, Yeshua's name, I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Xander, bro, it's definitely been a pleasure serving with you. I know we want to make sure you give some of the guests how they can locate you, support you, follow your business, or even potentially become a customer. And so I'll give you the floor to give some shout outs and where they can find you guys and also support you.
Yeah, so we offer both in-person and remote services. So, wherever you are, we'll see if we could serve you. We could serve you, remote. WURKservices.com. That's our main website. The app's coming out soon, so find us on the Apple Store, probably in a week or so. And, you could reach out to me directly on Instagram, XANDERKAZ, or you can find me Xander Kazanowski on LinkedIn. And, I'm on Facebook as well. And, that's pretty much it. And if you need anything, if you're looking for opportunities, wherever you are, reach out. You could go become a worker on the website, top right corner, or you can become a work services business partner. So we connect businesses and individuals with opportunities in their area. So feel free to reach out and we can see if we can do something for you.
I love it. I love it. Definitely myself or Xander are going to put in the comment section, and I'll have it in the show notes for the podcast listeners where you can go and support Xander's business and also his services. Definitely go out and support this young king. He could be doing a ton of other things at the age of 20, you all, but he's made a decision to go all in to make an impact on this earth and to leave a prosperous legacy for his children and also his family. And so we thank you again, Xander, for coming on this evening, bro. I know we'll be in touch, and then definitely have a great rest of the week, bro.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Julian. Thanks for having me on. It was a great conversation, and hope some people can get something out of this,
Absolutely, man. We'll be in touch, bro. You have a safe and blessed rest of the week, and we'll talk soon, man.
Sounds great. Have a great one.
All right, peace. All right, y'all. You know how we do. These are jewels that you are able to get literally on the RTJ show every single week. We are 152 episodes in. This was just episode 152, Startups for Gen Z. And so if for any way, shape, or form you have been blessed by tonight's episode, feel free to sow a seed. No seed is too large or too small. 3 ways to sow. You can Cash App us at Smart, JEWELZ, Venmo at Smart Jewelz Enterprises, or recently we just started a Patreon account because we are a creative platform for Smart Jewelz Enterprises, which is the business company that sponsors RTJ every single week. And so feel free to sow a seed with us. I tagged it in the comment section of how you can click the link to become a weekly or a monthly Patreon subscriber with us. Definitely don't take these jewels for granted that you were able to get on the RTJ show exclusively each and every week. We are 152 episodes in again. I have to remind you all, so we are not playing. We have been putting in this work since 2019, allowing entrepreneurs and young professionals to come and share their talent, their skill set, and also their expertise and wisdom with you all to help you shine bright like the diamond jewel that you've been created to be. And so feel free to sow a seed with us. Also, some final jewels for thought. Definitely do not give up on the next generation. I know a ton of Gen Zers that I've done business with, that I have had as clients, that I've served with. They get a bad rap, but they do the work. They have so many opportunities to blow, not just with social, but even technology, and also in different innovative strategies and measures out the window. And so even if some of the elder generations or the baby boomers may see them as the generation that is lost, there are tons of the Gen Zers that have been found and that have the light within them. And so do not give up on Gen Z. They do have the shining stars, and also those that have the true light within them that are going to lead their generation forward successfully. And so make sure you are mentoring, make sure you are reaching out to some Gen Zers, because they do need mentorship, even from us millennials or even baby boomers that are listening. So make sure you find those that have the light and that are creatives, because they can be invaluable to your business or your service, or even an asset. Or you can be an asset to learn from them for your potential business or your service that you are wanting to build. And so keep Gen Z king or queen or multiple Gen Zers around, because they are very innovative, creative, and also wise. Like you heard Xander speaking this evening. He's definitely a great prototype to see that there are those that are not doing craziness, doing foolishness, and that have a passion to serve and to help others. And so shout out to Xander Kazanowski again. Take a look really quick to see how you can become a future guest on the RTJ show. And then I'm going to get ready to close out in 1 second. So we literally are going into episode 3 for our season 3 of the RTJ show. Next week, we will be interviewing Orlando Evans on his business, which, as you can probably see, is going to be dealing with visuals and also multimedia. And so his episode is titled Snapshot of Purpose. We will be interviewing my special guest, Orlando Evans, next week at 7:30 p.m. And so stay tuned on Facebook or either on YouTube. We will be live and direct again to interview my very special guest, Orlando Evans. And you're going to be in for a treat, because this man is definitely a mover and a shaker. I've seen him at tons of events in the city, all the way from events that I've either been working at or either have just been networking at. And so we only are wanting to bring on movers and shakers for season 3. So shout out to Xander Kazanowski, who is our very special guest tonight. Shout out to all the mothers and all the queens that are going to be celebrated this weekend for Mother's Day weekend. Most mothers do not need one specific weekend to be shown the love and also the support and also just the appreciation that we sons and daughters approve of what they do and what they tirelessly may not get rewarded or even acknowledged for. So shout out to my mom, Mama Dukes, Mama Smart, Yvette Smart. Shout out to all the other mothers and aunties and grandmas, and even those that are playing the mother role in the households that watch the RTJ show. We love you all. We definitely know, regardless of what the government and also the culture is saying, you need a male and a female in order to create any type of embryo that comes into a living being, a living human being, but it definitely has to come from the mother's womb. And so shout out to all of those mothers and also all of the queens out there that are being acknowledged this week for Mother's Day weekend. Stay tuned again next week. You see on the screen, Snapshot of Purpose. We're locked and loaded. It's been a great episode this evening. Make sure you are taking care of your immune system, whether you took the COVID shot or not. Make sure you are taking care of your immune system and building up your body as a living sacrifice this season. I'm your host, King Jewelz, shouting out or signing off, I'm sorry, for episode 152. Make sure you shine like the bright diamond jewel that you've been created to be, because someone that is watching you, they need to feel and also need to see your light that you have within you. And so never be afraid to shine bright like the bright diamond jewel that Yah has created you to be, because you could be saving someone's life just by opening your mouth and allowing your light to shine. And so do not be afraid to shine bright. I'll see you all next week. God willing, have a blessed week and stay safe. Peace.